Professor Schnitzel was just so unique looking. He had one eye and his tongue was hanging out. My name is Stephanie, and I've always liked old dogs. And when I moved from Maryland to Oregon, I found an organization here in my town called Senior Dog Rescue of Oregon. And I think I had a dog it felt like within 15 minutes, but it was very, very soon. And then I've had, I think, 22 of them since I started. So they keep on coming. It's really tragic. And of course, it's fun for us, and they all get adopted and end up in happy homes, but it's also quite sad. So I'm a professor, and so I felt like my outlet, kind of making a silly, story about him was like, that's the material I had to draw on. He seemed so old that making him into like sort of a wise character made sense to me. And so we just started joking about how he would write things and what would he say, and, what would he teach? What subjects would he be interested in, and what would he do in his retirement as a professor? So it was partly drawn on just my own life and sort of, making fun of the kinds of quirky things about my line of work and being able to funnel that through the lens of a dog, I guess, so to speak. So that's been fun. And then, of course, they've all taken on their own personalities, and they have their own kind of, like, we make up these silly side stories for them to describe where they came from, and backstories and just kind of quirky human-like things, just to make it fun for people. So it's funny because I love wiener dogs, but I wouldn't say I'm a wiener dog person. I'm not a person who has like a breed that I'm gonna seek out. Like, I am happy to adopt a mutt, happy to adopt a large dog, medium dog, tiny dog, anything in between. But when I got Professor Schnitzel, people, like, at least in the area, like in the rescue that I got him from and from Senior Dog Rescue, people sort of grew to know him a little bit. Like, he had a small but loyal following. And after that, people just decided that we were dachshund people and that we really liked like old man dachshunds. So I love them. I love their like big ears and their weird proportions, their tiny legs, like their big noses and stuff like that. I think they're cute. They're also ornery. They can be really poorly behaved, and they can be really obstinate, I think. So, they're sort of a mix of fun and like frustrating. When I had my first dog, I spent so much of my time with her dreading the time that she would pass away and losing her. And I thought when she died, like, I was never gonna love another dog. I was never gonna make it. And then of course I did. And I adopted again, and I loved again, and I lost again. And I think once I went through that a few times, I started to realize, like, the thing that people fear the most about senior dogs, which is losing them, I think, losing them quickly, and how painful that can be over and over, wasn't really a good reason anymore to like avoid adopting dogs who are really a lot older, like the super senior dogs. And so I think it's made me a lot more capable of appreciating the time that they have, making the most of it, not wasting time with them, and really trying to know them and make them happy in their own way, whatever that might be. I really take a lot of joy and a lot of pride in making sure that however long that last chapter is, that it's really great for them, and they can, kind of let go of anything that maybe happened before. It's also changed me because for some reason, I think my friends and colleagues and acquaintances used to know me for different things. And now it's like, oh, how many dogs does Stephanie have right now? How are the dogs doing? Dogs. And I've always been a dog person, an animal person, really. But now that I have this like sort of group of dogs, and they're sort of unique in their very, very oldness, that's sort of something that people just like know about me. And it's a little bit weird to be like the crazy dog lady, even though the label totally applies. But I think that precedes like a lot of other things about me in other people's minds. Like, that's just the nutty lady with the dogs who writes nutty captions and whatever. So it's developed me sort of an odd reputation that I didn't necessarily seek out.
We paddle out into the lineup, people smile. There's no doubt, and we'll take off on a wave, and I hear people going, "Rosie, go, Rosie!" It's pretty cool. There's actually quite a few people who surf with their dogs, and then we have these competitions where they surf on their own, and they're